Hey everybody, Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share a quick unboxing and first look at the Sony LCS-ELCA. Now this is an Alpha accessory designed for the A7 and A7R, Sony's full-frame mirrorless interchangeable lens cameras, and as you may have noticed, I've got the A7R to the right with the SEL-2470Z, that Carl Zeiss zoom lens that launched not too long ago, the only FE zoom lens other than the kit lens currently. This case was designed specifically for the A7 or A7R, being paired with the original kit lens, but from what I've read, it does support the SEL-2470Z, and I'll be demonstrating that hopefully in the course of this video. So let me get the camera aside, let's take a look at the packaging. This is a leather case, as I mentioned earlier, and I think the biggest critique about this $140 accessory isn't even its high price point, because Sony, believe it or not, has launched with even higher pricing on similar accessories like this, but it's more so to do with the fact that it takes a full-frame mirrorless interchangeable lens camera that is all about its compact form factor for full-frame capability, and of course bulks it up. But you know, at what price? I mean, obviously beyond the $140 retail, and it is on sale now. You can find it for $120, $130. That's not a tremendous drop, but interesting to see that it is dropping already. In terms of functionality, though, if you're looking for something that's going to really protect your brand new A7 or A7R, and you are going to be working specifically with something like the SEL-2470Z or the kit lens that came with the A7 kit that you may have purchased, I can't really see a better option that is actually made for the camera at this price point. There are third-party options. Some will be far less expensive and have much lower quality, others much more expensive and, you know, maybe more intelligently designed, but that's about where it begins and ends. With that said, let me get this out of the packaging, which shouldn't be too complicated. Let's see if Sony has sealed this thing in here. I did not think this packaging was sealed, but it may be. There we go. Nothing too crazy. They didn't actually use anything adhesive here to seal it up, just a lot of plastic. That's not a new thing, by the way. And here we go. Again, this is two pieces. Out go the instructions, which I'll take a quick peek at. I don't believe there's anything else in the box. Essentially, your right there, notice for customers in the countries applying for EU directives. Yeah, not really interested in that paperwork, but let's go ahead and take a look at the case itself. So as I mentioned before, modular. We've got the two pieces, the half case for the body itself, and then the entire protective cover. First impression right now, certainly feels like genuine leather, which is what Sony advertises it as. You've got the Sony branding up front. I know some people were criticizing older Sony cases like the RX100, the original Mark I case, for having a crooked logo. Doesn't seem it's crooked here from what I can tell. Seems like it's, yeah, definitely straight. Construction seems nice. I can see there's an NFC logo right here on the right-hand side of the body, the half grip. And that's clearly because that's the side that the NFC contact point is on. I would take that to mean that this will work through that. So you can see we've got a strap here which you can easily disconnect, and that will give you the freedom that if you want to work solely with the half case, you can. It just screws right on, which I'm going to do right now. And the fit should be nice. Make sure that you get the actual strap connectors out of the way, because those will impede the connection. One design flaw that, at least it isn't necessarily a real design flaw, but many will interpret as one, is the fact that there's no way to get access to the battery or memory card when a half case like this is on. But not every half case necessarily does give you that access. Of course, Gariz is a good option if that's what you're looking for. Now, right now, this is the first time I'm actually using this on the body. I can tell you that it does do something interesting to the grip. It has fundamentally changed it. I'm not sure that you can really see that here, but it has made the grip substantially wider. And I'm not sure that that's such a great thing, because one of the things I really like about the A7 and A7R is the contour of the grip. So less would actually have been more here. Instead, Sony seems to have gone for more with this extra material right here that my right thumb is touching. So I may be just a little bit hypercritical here, but that's a first impression. You can see the fit and finish, though, is quite nice. It matches the camera beautifully. And that's important when you're going for an OEM, Sony manufactured case that is supposed to be a perfect match for the product it's designed for. So they've accomplished that with the half case. Now, if you want to attach full body protection, we've got this entire piece of gear here that has two clasps that will allow you to quickly remove this and allow it to hang if you decide to do so. I'm going to go ahead and actually put the camera in here. Let's make sure that it does, after all, fit with the 2470Z, and it does. I can tell you that right now. It seems to be, unless I'm missing something, it seems like the fit is fine. Let me see something here. Oh, see this? I'm missing things already. I should have pointed out. You may have just noticed this does have a bit of give here, play, so that you're able to do a quick release action, which is actually quite nice, because previous generations of Sony cases like this did not support a quick release feature like that. But you can see now I've actually got the fit, at least what appears to be proper, and there we go. Keep in mind, this was my first time actually throwing the case on. Not that it should be difficult for anyone, but there you have it. And that's another thing Sony wanted to address, full body protection. I know in some of these cases in the past, they left some gaps. Here we do have, I would say, pretty robust protection. And there's no question that if you want to be able to put this in a bag and not worry that your camera is going to get scratched or damaged, this is going to accomplish exactly that. And that's why Sony makes a case like this. So to all the people that say, oh, it bulks up the camera, it pretty much undoes the entire value of the form factor, I simply don't know what they're thinking, because I understand conceptually. However, Sony built this to protect the camera, not to shrink it or even maintain its form factor. And that's not to say Sony wanted to make it larger than it needs to be. It's just fairly obvious that the goal here was to make a case that worked to protect the camera as well as remain functional. And you can see the quick release feature I just employed right there. So that's exactly how it works. You just pull off the right connection and you can see it just slides out. Granted, I'm not sure how much I'd want to have this hanging off, but it is functional now. You can shoot, but I personally would probably leave this off and just keep it reserved for when this actually goes into the gear bag and has other cameras or gear around it that can possibly bump it, scratch it. That's what that entire full body enclosure is all about. Or weather conditions, even though this camera is weather sealed, definitely good to have something like this to wrap around it and make sure that, it really can't be touched by anything. Some more instructions in there, which I didn't pull out before, and essentially talking about when the device, the camera, is attached to a tripod. They essentially just mentioned that you should be using the mounting screw on the bottom, which is obvious, which is part of the half case right here. And they're pointing out it may be difficult to detach if the screw is over tightened. So that's a good point. In any instance, you always want to be aware of that. It's always better not to over tighten things, at least at first glance, until you know that that's the way it should be done. But overall, that pretty much covers my unboxing and first impressions of the LCS-ELCA. Again, this is the soft carry case, fit case designed for the A7 and A7R. And overall, definitely expensive, but I think it provides the protection that many consumers desire for their brand new, very expensive, albeit a value in my opinion, for their full frame mirrorless interchangeable from Sony. Any questions or comments, please feel free to post them. And of course, as usual, please feel free to subscribe. Later.